सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Leaving everything behind, all do's and don'ts, all sins and virtues, go in the devotion of the source. And then source puts you on the path to spirituality, and it removes all the guilt present in your mind. Guilt is the cause of all the sins. So removing the guilt removes the sins, and you get put on the fast track of attaining enlightenment and attaining salvation. Yes, but why is this sin present at the first instance itself, or the virtues? They are present in form of destiny. And destiny comes because of the two reasons to you. When you are born, your parents produce the body from the food, and body is called food seth. And after we take birth, in fact, we do not take birth, our body takes birth. After the body takes birth, I come in this body. The house has been built by our parents. And what do I bring in? I bring in what I have taken from my previous life. When a person is dying, he takes away his desires along with his senses, his mind, the breath and the consciousness. All these comes and associates with the DNA of our parents. That DNA carries whatever ancestors has performed. And then the resultant effect of this mixing, this association, is called life, and whatever the informations it gets is called prarabdha, the destiny. Okay? Now, destiny is not in your hand. It was in your hand in your previous life. After taking birth, you cannot change your parents, and you also cannot change your previous life's karmas. So what is in your hands? Results are also not in your hands. What is in your hand is the action. But what are we doing instead? We do not want to perform action, but want to get the results. Before planning, before making the goals, we want result to come first, and we start working later. But that doesn't happen in our life. What happens is what is in your control, and in your control is the action, thoughts, deeds. Results is not in your control. Then what are the results? Results is an energy. Okay. Result is an energy created by these actions, these thoughts, these deeds. And the principle these days is called cause and effect. You must have heard about it. Cause and effect is the principle by which your destiny is based on. And when you are born, our karma creates several debts in our life. What are those debts? Brahma debts, the debts from the source, debt from the divine, debt from our teachers, debt from our ancestors, and debt from the self. All these debts needs to be repaid. And to pay these debts, we take another birth. So this birth is also the result of remaining debts of our previous life. If you have promised somebody that I'll meet you in this life, will help you, then you have to take birth to come back and help him or help her. That is how life goes on. And this prarabdha, the destiny, are the results of your previous karmas, have 4 different stages, or 4 different types, you can say them. And they are called Sanchit, Agami, Vartman, and then matured. Matured are those results which are ready for us to go through. Stored or Sanchit are those which are stored and will face them in the future. And presents, the Vartman, are those which we are facing in the today's moments. And willful actions can be done by us. So why willful actions can be done by us? We have to go back to the verse saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. You work by 2 different types. And based on that, we say our karmas are of 2 different types. One, when it is performed according to this verse. When you devote yourself totally to source and perform the actions, thoughts and deeds. But since devotion has taken place, that means I do not exist. When I do a work on your order, you are responsible for my thoughts and actions. But when I do it by my own, then who is responsible? You or me? Of course, I. So whenever you perform any thought, action or deed by your own identity, you are responsible for it, for its virtues and also for its sin. Now, what is sin? And when we talk about the sin, every religion has a very fancy idea. The God will come and will squeeze you like this. Probably we do not know that God is not my enemy. He is not an executor. He is one who loves me the most. Some days back I was thinking it's my spouse who loves me the most. But the conclusion is that God loves me the most. And it's not only me. God loves you the most, loves her the most, loves everyone the most. God is our friend and not enemy. God is our lover and not the executor. So if God doesn't punish us, then who punishes us? Your sin is based on the guilt present in you. If you can live a guilt-free life, then there are no punishments. You are punishing your own self. The results are being created because of your thoughts, your actions, your deeds. God has no role to play in that. He rather says, with the help of this verse, what it says, so whatever you have done, forget about that. All your actions, deeds, good, bad, what you did, I forgive you of everything, provided you come to me. How can I forgive everything when you do not come to me? And verse says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. Leave everything and devote yourself to source. And when that happens, all the guilts, because guilt is because you are, it's your guilt. When you devote, you do not exist. What exists in you is the source. So all your guilt disappears from you. I am talking about the technology. How it happens. All the guilt disappears from you, and when all the guilt disappears, all the sins also disappears. You do not have to come back again here for the purpose of suffering and enjoyment. But then I was talking about this, and one of my lovely devotee, she says, Guruji, I want to remove all my sins, but want to keep all my virtues. Not understanding that sin and virtues are the same line. They go together, they come back together. Sadness, happiness. This side is sadness, this side is happiness. So they are the same thing. Either you can devote yourself completely, or you cannot devote yourself completely. There is no way by which you can devote sin, but not the virtues. So, two types of karmas are devoted and non-devoted. Devoted karmas, you are not responsible for their results. They do not make any prarabdha. They remove all the destiny and make you remain devoted to source. And non-devoted karma, on the other hand, are again of two different types. One, good karmas, second, bad karmas. For good karmas, you will have to come back to enjoy. For bad karmas, you have to come back to suffer. But both the things you have to come back. If you want to be free, then you have to go towards the detachment. Detachment can make you free. You have to forget everything and forgive everyone. When devotion to source takes place, something develops in you. Forgetting and forgiving. Praise and appreciation. You then become yourself. You do not identify yourself with the false things. You identify yourself with the self. You learn to take the responsibilities. And I want to invite you. Why invite you? Because life requires our participation to happen. Nothing happens by itself. So, we take our journey from I to we. Devote ourselves to the source so that all our karmas, bad and good, gets nullified and we be able to devote ourselves to source. Devotion has power. Do it once. And when you do it once, the power of devotion is so great that you will not like to come back and will remain devoted for all time to come. It changes the life. It has capacity to change your life. Put it in your experience and see the difference by your own self. Thank you so much.
Thank you.